Next is another waiver to allow the registration of 2 short-term rentals within 12 months of a citation. LIC STA 24-0-1166.
And I would like to clarify, this is also just for one short-term
Right.
rental. This one also contains the typo.
In
that
the
claims
agenda,
for
but
two.
but the staff report's correct.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Next slide, please. So the request before you is a waiver of Louisville Metro Code of Ordinances, section 115, 516D1, to allow the registration of a short-term rental within 12 months of receiving a citation. This property is one of our non-conforming host occupied short-term rentals, but they received a citation due to a registration lapse. Next slide, please.
Due to what? I'm sorry.
I apologize. So I believe this timeline will actually be a more effective way to describe it. So in May of 2023, the Office of Planning had issued a short-term rental registration to the current host, Ann Cirrus, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. In July of this year, 2024, a complaint was filed just alleging that it was an unregistered short-term rental. In September of 2024, a citation for operating an unregistered short-term rental was issued. And then October 8th of 2024, the Office of Planning receives a short-term rental registration application. So with the registration having previously been issued in May of 2023, it would have expired in May of 2024. So a couple months passed, it got reported, and then got cited by the code enforcement officer. And then they turned in their application, which led to the need to request this waiver. Next slide, please. The staff finding is that section of LMCO doesn't have any specific standards for relief. There isn't like a, if X is applicable, then you should Y. But the intent of that provision was to prevent hosts from operating before getting their short-term rental registration or continuing to operate after a registration had expired. Staff's position of our understanding of it is that relief should only be granted by the board if the applicant can demonstrate some exceptional circumstance that led to failing to obtain a short-term rental registration or maintain it, or maintain a previously issued one. Next slide, please. Staff has not found any exceptional circumstance that would support relief in this case. However, the board does have discretion to grant relief of this requirement based on testimony that is received today at the public hearing. And then your required actions will be to either approve or deny. You could think of it as granting or not granting the waiver. If you do grant it, the application will get reviewed and a short-term rental registration could be issued within 12 months of the citation. If you deny it, they will have to wait 12 months from whatever the last citation date is. And then I'm here for questions. I know that.
Yes.
Yes.
Jude, just for the record, would you review for us typically, maybe not specific in this case, but typically when does a property owner that has an active and valid registration receive notice, if at all, in advance of the expiration of that notice?
Absolutely. So the system that we have designed is set up to send an email reminder 30 days prior to expiration. When utilized correctly, the feedback the Office of Planning has received is that this notification email does work.
And secondly, assuming that they do receive that email and act on it, about how much time will it take for them to submit in terms of preparing the application for renewal, and also what is the remittance fee?
The application fee is $250. That is for a brand new short-term rental or renewal of a previously issued registration. As far as the time it would take to get the application together, I mean, most people show up in person to the Office of Planning and can fill out the application at our front desk there. If there's missing materials, we may email them to obtain those, but the turnaround on that is extremely quick compared to other applications.
Thank you.
So it should be able to be accomplished within 30 days.
Yes. And I would like to note too that in addition to the email reminder, each short-term rental registration lists on it that it's only valid for 1 year from the date of issuance, as you can see in attachment number 1 on the staff report for this.
And I'll just jump in to add to what Jude said is, we had a number of these where we revoked because they let it lapse, and there's nothing that requires staff to send a reminder. This is why we ask at the hearings. You understand that you're supposed to be the one renewing each year. Staff has tried to move to a system where they send a reminder, but that's really a courtesy on staff's part. That
was my understanding
Yeah.
as well. All right. Members, any questions for Mr. Mattingly? Thank you.
Thank you.
We have someone online who submitted a speaker card.
They did not, I don't believe they submitted a speaker's card, but I do have someone online, and the property or the applicant. And I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your last name. And Creus.
It's Creus.
But you will require a speaker card for them to speak online, right? We'll take the testimony today. Now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ms. Creus,
Hi, everyone.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. All right. I'm going to swear you in. Will you raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
The name and address, please.
Ann Creus, 4556 South 3rd Street.
Please proceed with your testimony.
I really don't have any thing to add to what Jude had said. It was an oversight on my part to not renew within the time frame that I had. Unfortunately, I did not receive a notification that it was expiring, which is totally my fault for not paying attention to it. This is my first year hosting an Airbnb at my property. And so it's just more of a learning curve for me. And if you guys grant me this waiver, I promise to just keep on top of it. And I know it's just a courtesy for the reminder, and it wasn't something that you guys have to do, but I will definitely stay on top of it.
So the property you continued to rent after the registration expired, is that correct?
Yes, so I've been traveling a lot this year. So again, I just didn't even realize that it expired. It wasn't until I got a notification of the violation that it was brought to my attention. And as soon as I noticed that it expired, I immediately paid the fine as well as put in the application to renew.
Thank you. I don't believe I have any other questions. Members, any questions for Ms. Creus?
I have a question for our attorney. Exceptional circumstance, is that in the opinion of this board to determine?
ultimately that's your all's decision. I will say that when we were doing when the board was revoking some of these, they were a number of licenses that had lapsed and not been renewed. And so the board had people come, and some of them appealed. Some of them didn't appeal because the owner had sold and new owner wasn't interested in maintaining the license. The one that got granted was the one where they could show they had sent emails to staff about the renewal, and it looked like the ball had been dropped on staff's end about the renewal. A lot of them just were busy, forgot, that kind of thing. And so if you're just looking for like how the board has treated it in the past, that's the one that really stood out as a difference was the one where they could show they had tried to renew. And from the emails, it looked like the ball had been dropped on staff's end rather than on the applicant's end.
And in this,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, in this case, it appears, according to the staff findings, there were no attempts, exceptional efforts to become legal again.
Yeah, I've not heard that that was the case.
No.
Was not the case. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Creus? Thank you, ma'am. We have another speaker online. Ms. Ramser?
Yes, hi, how are you doing today?
Hi. Doing very well, ma'am. Thank you. Do you raise your right hand? I'll swear you in.
Yes,
You swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth.
yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
Ann Ramser, P.O. Box 14243, Louisville, Kentucky, 40214. I'm asking that the waiver not be granted in this case. We here have a complaint-driven system so that individuals must check to see if there is a license or not and then report it. And if waivers are granted, in these cases, when a business owner can't keep up with their own records, and this is what it is, this is a business that they're running, it's very concerning. And I've listened to a lot of these short-term rental cases. I know that you all, as the commissioners, are telling these business people that they need to make sure that their licenses are renewed on a yearly basis. And just to let them renew after they've been fined, I think that's a disservice to all of us. So I'm requesting that you not grant the waiver. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Members, any questions for or discussion for Ms. Ramser? No. Thank you. All right, Ms. Creus, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal. You've heard the concerns that were raised by Ms. Ramser and the questions that the board had. So you've got 5 minutes for rebuttal.
As I mentioned before, this is my first year doing this, so I apologize for the mistake that I made. It's not like I've done this over and over, and I'm just asking for a one-time grace for the lapse that was my mistake. So that's all I have to add.
Thank you. All right. At this point, I'll close the public hearing. We're in deliberations on LIC STA 24-01166, a waiver regarding short-term rental registration for a property at 4556 South 3rd Street. Members, any discussion?
Madam Chair, I haven't heard any rationale other than I think a very heartfelt and sincere appeal from the homeowner to be granted a waiver in this case. And I also believe that there is some great continuity in how this board has approached short-term rentals, knowing that there is, even in cases where there's no apparent violation or conflict with city code, there's always still great concern and pushback from the community. That one way, BOZA sends the signal that we expect very high standards in terms of continuing to operate short-term rentals, either owner-occupied or otherwise, is to make sure that there is complete compliance, particularly with those things that are relatively routine and standardized, that do require attentiveness in terms of a business owner. So on that basis, I would not be supporting the waiver.
Thank you. Members, any other comments or positions?
Madam Chair, motion when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. This is case number LIC-STA-24-01166. It's a waiver to allow short-term rental registration. It's a waiver of the Louisville Metro Code of Ordinances, section 115,516D, number 1, to allow the registration of a short-term rental within 12 months of citation. My motion is to deny this request. There have been at least eight letters of opposition. We have a number of notices of violation, and there have been no exceptional circumstances for relief of the requirements shown in the open hearing today. In addition to the standards of review and the staff analysis and the evidence and testimony today.
Is there a second?
Second, Ford.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to deny the waiver to allow the short-term rental registration to proceed prior to the 12-month period. We're ready to vote.
Lewis,
Yes.
Horton,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Beta,
Yes.
Vozos,
Yes.
and Bond.
Yes, the request to allow the waiver has been denied. Thank you.